This has been a highly requested subject, so in this video we are going to break down some of the top careers that you can do as a helicopter pilot, some of the pros, some of the cons, how much they pay, and who the job is for. And stick around to the end because I will share with you the highest paying job that I've heard about in the helicopter industry.
That's like autopilot, dude.
How do you fly a helicopter? Well, I'm going to show you.
Alright, job number one, flight instructor. Now, this is the most common job that you'll get after you graduate flight school. This is a pretty guaranteed way to get into the industry is if you do have your CFI. It's pretty hard if you don't. Now, I put on here you can earn anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000 per year. Let me say that this is kind of a stretch. It definitely depends on the school, how much they pay, the amount of hours you're working. All of this goes into it, how much experience you have. But 40 to 60 can kind of be a stretch. When I was a flight instructor, I was working a lot, and these numbers were like aspirational at best. The pay is bad. So a couple pros to being a flight instructor is you build hours really fast, and it's great for networking. Your student clientele is great for networking. They could become your boss one day. You're working with other great flight instructors, your school, it's a great network. But the biggest thing here is you build flight hours really fast. I was building flight hours in like the 750 hours a year range, which is pretty fast. I've heard of flight instructors doing 1,000 hours a year. Even if you do 500 hours a year, that's still quite a bit. You know, in 2 years, you're at over 1,000 hours from when you graduate. So flight instructing is a great way to build hours. All right, a couple cons. Low pay, we talked about. High workload, and students can be unpredictable. Flight instructing is dangerous because students are crazy. Students do really dumb, crazy stuff. That's part of the job. That's part of the fun of it, but it's sketchy a lot of times. And you work a ton for terrible pay. It's like any job in any industry. You start at the bottom of the totem pole, you work your way up. It's just like the lowest rung of the ladder. I don't know. It's good and it's bad. It's got its pros and its cons. I think fondly of the time I was a flight instructor, and I also hated it. But it's just part of the process. Next up is tour pilot. Now, a tour pilot, most people are familiar with the concept of this. You're flying a helicopter in a very beautiful place. Think Hawaii, Grand Canyon, New York City. Essentially, you're just flying a helicopter showing people beautiful stuff. I did this job. I was a New York City tour pilot. I also did charters. We'll kind of go on to that one in a couple slides. Now, the salary range here is super variable. I put in big ranges. They can go way higher, they can go way lower, but on average, anywhere from $50,000 to $80,000 per year. It can be way higher with tips. The pros, it's fun flying, there's beautiful views, it's a great way to build hours. You build hours super fast. A couple of the cons, super repetitive routes, and it can be lower pay compared to other jobs. If you're working in these very scenic, beautiful places, the cost of living is going to be pretty high. New York City, Hawaii, Grand Canyon, these are all kind of expensive places to live, so that's also another downside. Utility or power line pilot. Now, this is flying for power companies, infrastructure companies, using a helicopter to build something, go see something, land somewhere cool. Utility and power line, really, there's so much within this that you could do. The salary range here can vary significantly. It can be super high. Some utility pilots make a ton of money, like really a lot of money, way beyond what I see here. But on average, I said anywhere from $75,000 to $120,000 a year is like a pretty good place to think that you'll end up. Now, I say that's when you're a seasoned, experienced utility pilot. Some pros, it's rewarding work. There's a solid salary and there's steady demand. They're always looking for people. It's extremely cool helicopter flying. It is extremely dynamic. It's low level. You're using the helicopter to its limits and you are hand flying that helicopter. You and the helicopter are one. Some of the cons are long shifts, unpredictable landings, dangerous because you're flying very low, typically with a load at the helicopter's limits, in wire environment sometimes, so it's pretty dangerous flying. There's also a good chance you're going to be on the road a lot. Offshore oil rig pilot. Essentially, you're just transporting workers on these oil rigs from the land out to their oil rig and flying them back and forth. The salary range here can be anywhere from $90,000 to $130,000 per year when you're established in the career. Some of the pros, it's high pay, steady work, opportunities to fly internationally. It is also very safe flying. It is extremely safe safe. It's very smooth. You're not really doing anything weird with the helicopter. You're picking it up, cruising, and landing. It's very safe flying. Two biggest cons for this one are the long rotations away from home and the rough weather conditions. In terms of long rotations, these pilots typically have 7 on, 7 off, but more commonly it's 14 on, 14 off, 21 on, 21 off, or 28 on, 28 off. That's a long rotation. This is for pilots that like high pay, structured career path, and international opportunities, also flying big helicopters. These pilots fly AW139s, Sikorsky S-92s, H-160s, really cool helicopters. All right, then you have firefighting and search and rescue. You're doing water drops, mountain rescues, emergency response. The salary range here can be pretty big depending on where you work and who you work for. If you're working for a governmental organization, maybe a little bit lower. If you're doing something private, maybe a little bit higher, but anywhere from probably $85,000 to $150,000 per year. Pros, super exciting flying. It's rewarding. It's highly dynamic, highly skillful working. It is really cool stuff. In my eyes, this is like the pinnacle of helicopter stuff. Like search and rescue specifically is like the pinnacle of what helicopters are good for that airplanes can't do. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Cons, dangerous flying, high experience requirements, ton of flight time, specific flight time. Sometimes they want you to be carded with the US Forest Service. It's challenging to get these positions, but if you do them, they're pretty cool. These are best for pilots who want that adrenaline rush, that like to thrive under pressure, like to do cool stuff in helicopters. EMS or air ambulance pilot, this is what I do, so I'll speak to this one in personal experience. I've done multiple of these different jobs, but this is my current position. So you are flying medical emergency helicopters for hospitals or a private organization. You can have like a standalone helicopter air ambulance company, or you could be a program attached to a hospital. Some hospitals operate their own helicopter systems and you could work for that hospital. Typically here there's two types of missions. You could do scene calls or inter-facilities. Scenes are typically on a trauma. Someone needs to get to the hospital. They are not currently in the hospital and they are injured or very sick and they need to get to the hospital. So you're going to land at a scene and then fly them to the hospital. The other type of flying we do is what are called inter-facilities, IFTs, inter-facility transportations. And this is when you're flying someone from a smaller, lower level care hospital to a higher level care hospital where they can get the care that they actually need. So the salary range here is anywhere from 80 to 120 plus for an experienced helicopter pilot. For everyone asking what my salary range is, it is right there. I am above $100,000. I won't say the exact number, but above $100,000. Can go way beyond that, especially with overtime. There's a ton of overtime capabilities in most helicopter companies. So if you really work overtime, you can, I know pilots that make well over $200,000, which is a lot of money. Some of the pros, it's rewarding work, very solid salary, and there's a steady demand. Some of the cons, there's long shifts, night flying, unpredictable landings. Personally, I work 7 on, 7 off. That's typically the rotation. 7 days of work, 7 days off. I love this schedule. It is fantastic. I do 7 days of day shifts, 7 a.m. till 7 p.m., week off, 7 days of nights, 7 p.m. till 7 a.m., week off, and that's my month. Waking up in the middle of the night and going and flying is challenging, but you also get used to that. Some of these other jobs here, the majority of them are mostly daytime flying. Helicopter EMS is a ton of nighttime flying. I think I fly more at night than I do it during the day. Definitely more night flights in my opinion. I think that's how it works out. This is best for pilots who thrive in high pressure environments. They want a stable, meaningful career. This is just the best job I could ever ask for me. All right, the last one is you have VIP or corporate flying. This is flying private helicopters for executives, celebrities, or governmental officials. The salary range here is anywhere from $100,000 to $250,000 or more. Now, I did this on a lower level. I was flying charters. People could book us to take them on flights, and we were really busy. We did a ton of flights. I definitely flew some rich and famous people that you would know the name of, some celebrities. I don't think I ever flew any governmental officials, but you could be in that role flying for the government. Pros, high pay, great travel, extremely nice helicopters, very well maintained, very pretty helicopters. Some of the cons, unpredictable schedules, high standards, and super competitive hiring. This is best for pilots with pretty elite professionalism and networking skills looking for the highest end salaries. And they are. All right, so I alluded to it at the start of the video. I'm going to show you the highest paying job that I've ever seen posted online. There is potentially higher pay out there, but this is the highest I've seen. This is for an American Express helicopter pilot flying the Sikorsky S-76. The pay is anywhere from starting $170,000 up to $255,000 a year. This is in Newburgh, New York. The requirements are also extremely high for this. Prior work experience in corporate or business aviation, Sikorsky S-76 flight training, total time 30,000 hours, 2,000 hours of helicopter time, 1,500 hours of PIC time, 600 hours in the Sikorsky S-76, and 75 hours of instrument. They want you to have your air transport. They want you to have your ATP, airline transport pilot. They want you to have your first class medical, and they want you to have up-to-date immunizations and vaccinations. The salary range is anywhere from $170,000 to $255,000 annually, plus a bonus, plus equity, plus benefits. So which job is right for you? Do you want adventure? Do you want to go be a utility pilot, firefighting, search and rescue pilot? Do you want kind of a stable, safe kind of flying? Maybe you want offshore oil rigs, helicopter EMS, VIP transport if you're looking for the big money. Any of these jobs are super cool. You're flying helicopters. You are doing one of the coolest jobs in the world in any of them. It is fantastic, including you flight instructors. I was a flight instructor. I did it. I love it. But let me know down in the comments below, what's your dream job? What would it be doing? How would it be set up? What would be the pay? What would be the schedule? Let me know what your dream job is, what you're pushing for. If you found yourself enjoying this video, smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We are in the middle of a 90-day helicopter series, so if you found yourself enjoying this one specifically or any of them, smash the like button and subscribe for all kinds of helicopter content, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.